Jamarl Thomas, welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I am once again in the parking lot. Apparently I do a lot of these. My wife shops a lot apparently. She's running in for a few groceries, but I wanted to do a quick aside while she was doing that. One failure, one crime, doesn't necessarily mitigate another. Sometimes when you watch British politics, the person would say something like, well, the previous Labour government did X. And then the Conservative government would get up and say something that, it goes back and forth where one person did something and the other person did something, and act as if just because both of them did it, that the world is fucking awesome and we can keep going. One crime doesn't mitigate another. So, Paul Manafort's offices were raided. Paul Manafort worked with the Trump administration. His offices were raided. Now, whether they found anything or not, who knows? It's going on with this idea of an expanding investigation into Trump. Russian hacking, I still think is bogus. Whether there are financial ties between Trump and Russia, yes, I'm probably more inclined to believe that there are. Whether there are financial crimes or not between Trump and Russia, a fair argument is made that the inciting incident of all this, the Russian hacking narrative, was bogus. Fair enough. That has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. That has absolutely nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton should be indicted. If Hillary Clinton is being investigated, Hillary Clinton should go to prison. They should investigate the Clinton Foundation. All those things are absolutely true. All those things are absolutely fair. But one doesn't mitigate the other. Somebody saying, well, hey, they raided the offices of Paul Manafort, and then somebody else is jumping up and saying, well, hey, they raided Clinton's offices too. So what? So what? Those issues are separate and distinct from one another. Let me tell it, all of them should go to prison. All of them should be locked up. The whole lock them up thing should go for pretty much both parties, including Donald Trump himself. I'm just always enamored by this thing of offices were raided by the FBI, unannounced. Paul Manafort's office raided. He has something to do with Trump, and so now Trump is being tarred by it. Trump should be tarred by it. Fair enough. It's politics. And then, in order to deflect from that, people who are really just animated against Hillary. And look, I don't like Hillary either, so you already know where I stand on it. You've seen my other videos. But one crime doesn't necessarily mitigate another. Though in Hillary Clinton, the conversation about the crimes of Donald Trump is as irrelevant as throwing Donald Trump in the crimes against Hillary Clinton. That's all. I'll leave it at that. Those things are separate and distinct. That's all I'm saying. These inane arguments where you would have somebody on the left. Look, I find this to be as ridiculous as when Democrats and Republicans are having arguments and they say, well, you did this, and the other party say, well, you did this. So what? I'm not on either side. I have no dog in this hunt. I look at each case as being separate and distinct. I'm not grading on a curve based upon how the parties are behaving. Separate and distinct. Paul Manafort's offices were raided. The FBI investigation in regards to Donald Trump is expanding. Whether you think that investigation is fair or not, that's a separate conversation. Hillary Clinton has nothing to do with that conversation. That's all I'm saying. You have to deal with these things as separate and distinct items unto themselves. Otherwise, you're just playing this politics games. If you consider yourself a leftist, if you consider yourself in the progressive camp, whatever you consider yourself, whatever label you're giving yourself, look, the label doesn't really matter per se. What matters is what you do, what you back up. If you feel this inane need to back up Trump in every circumstance, and particularly using Hillary Clinton's defense for doing it, it's not the way to go about it. That's all. It's not the way to go about it. Clinton Foundation is corrupt. Clinton Foundation should get investigated. Hillary Clinton should have been locked up. There is sketchy interaction with this idea of a meeting on the tarmac between Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton. All those things are gross as gross can be. And if you believe that they talked about their grandkids, you are on drugs. Not the good stuff, but the debilitating stuff that rots your teeth. But that has nothing at all to do with the investigation into Donald Trump. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to be a broken record. I'm just trying to make this point. I've heard arguments of this thing, this investigation into Trump, and this idea of Clinton always being thrown into the mix. They have nothing to do with each other. They have nothing to do with each other. Yes, you can make a case that the Clinton Foundation, or Clinton should have been locked up, and because Clinton should have been locked up, Sanders should have been the person for the candidacy, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can run down that line of logic. But certainly, if a case comes out that says Paul Manafort's offices were raided, that has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. It's nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, man, don't play that game, dude. That's a Washington game. And I'm saying dude, it just mean in general, or leftists in general. That's a DC game. Your bias is to integrity, not to Donald Trump or anybody else. If he's guilty of something, then he's guilty of something. I don't care. I don't necessarily like the way this is going, but it's a separate and distinct argument in regards to having a conversation about Donald Trump and whatever crimes took place in that office. So, I leave it at that. Paul Manafort's offices were raided. I hope when I get home I'll put the link in the bottom of this. It speaks of an expanding investigation. Paul Manafort essentially gave testimony, and immediately after that testimony, there was an unannounced raid on his offices. So, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get hit in the parking lot. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the content, feel free to share, subscribe, and of course, you can always support the work through Patreon. Thank you.